Yes, yes. I'm trying to see who's all on here tonight. Before we get started, can tell me where you coming from and whatnot. It's about the Christ oil. Let me see who's watching tonight. If you don't mind, let me see who's all in here. Yeah, family, this is gonna be a real deep uh video for tonight. Education is the key. So let's talk about the Christ oil right here for 1 second. I've been on here 65 seconds. Let's tune in to see where we all at. See if we can get some feedback. Okay, bless you. I'm back in here. So tell me where y'all from. Tell me where you watching from. Where you located. I'm gonna talk about the Christ oil tonight. See where your mind is at. Free your mind. So Christ oil. You know, these pictures right here tell you everything about the Christ oil. You know, you had the Christ oil passes through the 33 vertebrae right here on the spine. And then it passes through the vagus nerve, which crosses over the brain right there. You know, and this is why Jesus got crucified at the age of 33, because it's his crucifixion of the Christ oil passing down the 33 vertebrae and crossing to the vagus nerve. See what I'm saying? That's the confusion right there. So you got the spinal cord going to the vagus nerve, and the Christ oil passes right down through the vagus nerve, which is the crossover between the two. Behind the brain is two nerves that crossed over. You know what I'm saying? So it's the Christ oil when you're trying to explain it like that. And you know, when we talk about the yin and the yang, that's the spirit, fire, air, water, and earth. So, you know, Jesus dying at 33 was also symbolizing and turning matter into spirit. When moving the oil passed through the vertebrae, as he is now spirit, not flesh. You get what I'm saying? And the yin and the yang is the spirit and matter. You can go check it out on your I think it's Jacob's ladder. When you check out Jacob's ladder, that's the whole spinal cord, the 33 ladder. Talk about the Jacob ladder. I'm using the Ethiopian Bible. The Ethiopian Bible talks about Jacob's ladder in Genesis 28:10 through 22. It talks about how Jesus left, or not, Jacob left Beersheba and went to Haran. And the sun has already set when he came to a good place to spend the night. See what I'm saying? He took a rock and then laid there and went to sleep. So that was like in Jacob's dream. He had a dream that he reached up to the heaven, that he saw the angels going up and down the ladder. You know what I'm saying? That's the Christ oil going up down the 33 vertebrae of uh your nervous system. You know what I'm saying? That's the Jacob's ladder. And when he saw the Lord standing by the ladder, he said, um, I'm at the standing by the ladder. See what I'm saying? And that's your vertebrae. As Jacob symbolizes the oil in the parable of the rock. See what I'm saying? That's the when he fell asleep, under his sacrum bone, where the oil falls into and stays for 3 days. See, when you get that Christ oil, it goes. It crosses the vagus bone. I mean, the vagus nerves in the spinal cord. It crosses over, then it goes down to the scrotum bone and is set for 3 days. There are 13 Jesus is supposed to be like crucified. See what I'm saying? That makes like Jesus died at 33, also symbolizing turning the matter into spirit when moving the oil, when it passes through the vertebrae. See what I'm saying? And that's how Jacob symbolizes when he fell asleep. You know, he falls asleep and he stays asleep for 3 days. You get what I'm saying? So then when he saw the ladder, you know, he reached up to heaven, which is the spinal cord, and the heaven is the head. You get what I'm saying? When they talk about the temple, that's your head. Your body's your temple, and the head, that's the heaven. You know what I'm saying? That's when the spinal cord, when the oil sets for 3 days, it goes back up to the vagus nerves, back up to the vertebrae, crosses all the way back to the vertebrae. That's your 3 days of your resurrection. You see what I'm saying? That's what people can't understand is when the spinal cord is to the heaven, then the fluid goes back up. That's your Christ oil. And when the 33 um like the Freemasons use the Jacob's ladders. Then when you see the Freemasons, they use Jacob ladder too, but it's hard to understand when you're talking about the Freemason 33. It's talking about the 33 vertebrae of the spinal cord. That's the 33 levels of Freemason. You get what I'm saying? And it's on top of your brain, right? When Jesus was crucified, which translates a place in the skull. You know what I mean? You know how when you're a baby, um, on top of your head, it's a soft spot, right? And if you look at it through the skull, on the top of the skull, it's like a person, it's like a cross. You know what I'm saying? It's overlapped onto the midbrain. See what I'm saying? That's um when Jesus is supposed to be crucified on that cross in the top of that top of your scalagel. You know what I'm saying? Goliath. And unless you are born again, you cannot see the kingdom of heaven. So you understand that on top of the head, on top of the brain, when you be born again, that's when you raise the oil up to activate through the pineal gland. You are born again, as you know, you have like regenerated all the cells in your body, and you have now Christ conscious. See what I'm saying? When you're born again. And then Jacob called the name of the place that he was talking about. He said the penal or the penal. See what I'm saying? For I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. See what I'm saying? You can go read it up in your Bible. It's in Genesis 32:30 when Jacob said, I called the name out of a place called the Penal. I have seen God face to face, and my life has been preserved. See what I'm saying? And Jacob called the place where he seen God Penal or the Penal, which is the penal gland or the pineal gland. See what I'm saying? When the light of the body is the eye, you get what I'm saying? And therefore, there's an eye that's single. It talks about that in like Matthew 6:22. It says, let the light of the body be the eye, and therefore the eye be single, by there be the body of full light. See what I'm saying? That's what that's what the Christianity churches and stuff are not talking about. They go to this class, so you gotta understand this right here. When I'm talking about this Last Supper that Leonardo da Vinci, I did a video about this, but I'm gonna break it down more in this right here. When Leonardo da Vinci was on this Last Supper, I'm gonna break it down so you'll see who's who. If you understand, look at everybody in this picture. Everybody I broke down in threes. You get what I'm saying? You have at the on the left right here, you have that's the Aries. Aries is the noun, the springtime. Aries is the sign of a ram. You see how he's standing. He's standing on with his hands on the table. right here in green. Look on the left. That's Aries. He's standing with both hands on the table like he's the head region. That's the upper half of your head. You know what I mean? Up in that region right there. That's the rulership. The brain is the cerebrum, ram. See what I'm saying? The cerebrum is the ram. The ram is a cerebrum. See what I'm saying? There's some secret codes out there that need to be known about the Last Supper because there's a lot of stuff going on in this Last Supper. So when you see you got everybody in threes, okay? On the left side of Jesus, you have two sets of threes. On the right side, two sets of threes. So that right there tell you right there what that right there really is. When it really is talking about the Holy Trinity, Holy Trinity, Jesus is in the middle with both hands out. See, represent the Son, the light of the world. You get what I'm saying? The Savior, the Son that was who they called of God. Jesus with open wide arms, symbolizing that the sun's rays are the light of the earth. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's kind of part in this. You see the Gemini on the left, you can go to the video, it'll tell you more about what I'm talking about on my old video I just done. It talks about Gemini, the twins. You got the twins, the two hands. It's all in the other thing, you know what I mean, in the picture. So if you notice how all the disciples are standing in a group of threes, like I'm telling you, that's the 3 months, three zodiacs, signs of each season. You see what I'm saying? Four groups of threes is the four seasons. So you got spring, summer, fall, and winter. The first three left is spring. The second summer, Jesus is the sun, and you got the fall, you got the winter. You got the Libra sitting beside Jesus in the green right here, with his arms open, balancing between all the other signs. You get what I'm saying? I'll break it down, and you got Virgo right here. It's the woman right here on the right beside Jesus. If you can look at Leo pointing at her, Adam's apple. If you go to the next, my other video explains all of that. You get what I'm saying? So everybody always praise the sun, but not an image of the sun, who they call him Jesus. You know what I mean? So when you talk about the pineal gland, that's when you want to really reach where where you need to go up to your Christ self. You are the God yourself, like I explained to you earlier in the other videos. So always remember that when it comes to the pineal gland, the pineal gland is a cone shaped. It's a cone. See what I'm saying? When you talk about the cone shape, you know the pine cone outside. The pine cone outside is really it symbolizes in so many other faiths and religions that they're not explaining what it really means. But the pine cone, when you see the pine cone is asleep, that means that the person is asleep and not awoken. You get what I'm saying? So when you see the pine cone, that's the pineal gland shaped body. That's the organ through which the electrical forces of the body is at play, you know, and the universal essence of the consciousness is departed from the cone. So I'm saying the light of the body that gives life to the whole temple. So the pineal of the man is a spiritual organ. You get what I'm saying? So the glands is the mind's eye. This is what you see in this mental screen in your mind, because the two eyes that you're seeing, you're not seeing what you think you're seeing. See what I'm saying? So the more spiritual work you do, the more active your pineal gland becomes active. The pineal gland is always covered with microcrystals. Crystals have ability to receive. That's why you gotta do energy healing and stuff. You know, it receives the frequencies. It's the crystals on the pineal gland. You get what I'm saying? Even in the Vatican, they're suppressed the information on the pineal gland mystical powers. See, the Vatican and the Catholic Church, they took over Europe and destroyed they destroyed everything and stole all the knowledge when they was coming when they was in Europe. You get what I'm saying? So they stole the ancient texts and the information of the true power. They then like created and encoded the Holy Bible. That's why it's the version. That's why it's called a version, but nobody don't realize what that means. It's not the real thing. It's like a version. I wrote a book, so that's my version of what you think the book's Bible should be. You get what I'm saying? So when they created and encoded the Holy Bible to keep the people looking outside of themselves for God. See, what they did was keep people looking outside of themselves for God, and when really you are the God. So that makes you keep looking and looking and looking for some outside force when it's really you got to work on you. You get what I'm saying? That's the whole thing of the pineal gland. All of them use the pine cone, but nobody's explaining that the Vatican uses it. You know, the eye of Horus, the eye of Ra, you know, that's the signs, the smell, the sight, thought, hearing, touch, taste. You get what I'm saying? Even once you find out about this knowledge, this secret knowledge, you'll understand what Christ door is. You got the colostrum, the same thing as Santa Claus. You get what I'm saying? And you got back to the pineal gland, to the Christ oil, you'll see more of medical symbols using the chakras. That's the Christ oil. You get it? That's the oil. What they showing you is the oil of coming from the colostrum. That's Santa Claus. It produces a physical fluid, which then goes down to the pineal gland and to the pituitary gland. See, the pineal gland is what you is electrical, has electrical charges that the fluid, the male slash Joseph. The purity gland is magnetical. That's the woman. You get what I'm saying? The man is electric. The woman is magnet. You get what I'm saying? The feminine and masculine. That's what that really is. So when the fluid goes down, it charges the female Mary. So you got Joseph as the male and Mary as the female. See what I'm saying? This is ancient knowledge. And when the fluid travels down to the two nerves, the IDA, which is connected to the purity and the penile or the penagala, which is connected to the pineal gland. The oil then resets for 2 to 3 days on the sacrum bone. That means your solar, your plexus. Said that when that oil gets down there, when just the fluid gets down there on your sacrum and plexus bone, then if the oil is saved and not destroyed, the oil will activate the kundalini. See what I'm saying? People are not talking about the kundalini. I'll give shots out to the elder Bobby Hemmett for explaining this well to me. We'll study him a lot. So when the kundalini gland or when the kundalini energy, which would turn the oil to gas, and it rises back up the 33 vertebrae to the medulla oblongata, one that it's one of them bones. I might not be pronouncing it right, but it'll go back up. Then when it goes back to passes through the pineal gland, it then the cerebrum, which rebirths and resurrect. All brain cells activate the pineal gland and regenerate all the cells in the whole body. So that process is symbolized as being born again. See what I'm saying? Everything has to be born again. And what people want to know about how to raise the oil, you got to eat healthy. You know what I mean? Men got to uh, do like semen retention, drink nothing but water, no alcohol, nothing, no smoking, herb, nothing. You know, then that right there will get your meditation in and balance all your chakras and keep the tongue on the top of your mouth and like do like proper breathing. That's in your Bible too. You can look at Psalms, let's see, Psalms 137, 6. It says, may my tongue cling to the roof of my mouth. It's all in there. So when you want to know this real history and real knowledge, it should be there for everyone to see. And when Christianity, the summer and winter started coming, transitions, the sun moves through the away from the northern people, see what I'm saying? And it started going down south. And on the 25th of December, the sun now moves 3 degrees northwards. The sun, Jesus, is now starting to move northward, bringing back the warmth to the northern people. See what I'm saying? And in this picture right here, it's talking about Jesus. But if you see in behind Jesus, the sun and the ray going down toward the water. So that means during the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went out to them walking on water. It really is to telling you the sun. See what I'm saying? He's following he's following the path. You get it? That's what it really means. That's what all this knowledge right here means. So get your pen and take notes on this. When we talk about the Christ oil, it be every Saturday at 6 o'clock. It's your sabbatical. It'll be a education, a learning, a overstanding. So as we get back to the Christ oil, so I'm talking about uh as described, like the Christ oil, the processes, the mirror, the spiritual concepts, and the ideas of awakening. This Christ oil has a deep symbolic meaning in various esoteric traditions. When you come in talking about Christ oil, it's many different various um, ideas and beliefs, but there is also conspiracy theories that parallels this symbolism, particular in how hidden knowledge and ancient wisdom may have been deliberately like obscured from everybody, but the conspiracies of the hidden knowledge and spiritual awakening. So once a conspiracy theory linked back to to the idea that the ancient civilizations such as Egypt or the lost city of Atlantis possessed like advanced spiritual and scientific knowledge that has since been like deliberately hidden or suppressed by modern institutions. But believers suggest that the figures like Jesus were teaching more than moral lessons, if you understand. They were like revealing esoteric truths about human body, consciousness, and reality itself. When they talk about like the pineal gland, because the pineal gland is often connected to conspiracies around like mind control and conscious manipulation when they start to think about the pineal gland. And some even believe that the fluoridation of drinking water or chemicals in food are attempts to like calify the pineal gland. especially like blocking nature's ability to reach higher states of consciousness. This ties to a larger theory that the government and the elites actively suppress like spiritual enlightenment and keep masses distracted or unaware of their true like potential. So the scenario of this whole thing right here, when you're talking about the Christ oil and the pineal gland, it's true. You know what I mean? Imagine this. Imagine a world where spiritual teaching, like the Christ oil process, were more symbolic. They held the keys to understanding and like connecting to the universe and our potential for personal transformation. In this whole scenario, the suppression of the knowledge about the pineal gland and brain processes would be part of a larger agenda to maintain control over the population by preventing them from unlocking their full potential, control, like information. They do media, and even the food and water supplies could be a part of this strategy too. So when you talking about like the Christ oil, and we talking about the colostrum, continuing from the previous picture that I showed you a while ago about the Christ oil and whatnot, and how it should be a origin of the sacred oil in like esoteric teachings. It's a role that that is produced like fluid that will eventually move through the body and rest in the sacrum bone. That's when like I've been explaining to you. That's what before it starts rising again. See what I'm saying? It goes back up to the brain. And like people like to study physiology. People study like physics and stuff. They have a spiritual term that like the journey of this oil is like a metaphor for like the journey of consciousness. As humans, we often like live in a state of like um, separation, separation from nature, from others, and from our own true selves. So the process of the Christ oil was one of my biggest studies. Like it represents the return of a unity, like reclaiming the divine essence within yourself and with us. You know, just as the oil returns to the brain, it recharges the pineal gland. Like so, to must we must return to true nature in like awakening. You get what I'm saying? To get the energy back within, cause you have people like the control of the awakening or the inner awakening. This leads to like more theories, like the modern society is like structured in ways that inhabited this nature, this natural process in inner awakening. So from the constant distractions with the world through media, social pressures, and like emphasize like material wealth over spiritual growth, it ain't even worth it. So this is a tool of control. So like some just suggest that the powerful intuitions or institutions, including like media, and they're like designed to keep us asleep, preventing us from questioning deeper realities or seeking higher conscience. So this whole scenario about the pineal gland and the colostrum oil going from the Christ oil in this world, our day to day existence is carefully like block spiritual progress. You know what I'm saying? Like the mass entertainment, like the news cycles and customers or consumer cultures serves like to keep people in a state of distraction. Imagine a system where instead of encouraging individuals like to grow in enlightenment, the structures or reinforce mental emotion and even physical limitations can be harmful. And the more that detached we are from our like inner selves, it's easier that we get like controlled, man. It's crazy. So when I was talking about the sacrum bone, when it represents the Aries, the ram in Aries, like right now, this Aries is that's the ram, and it rules the head of like the leadership on that whole Last Supper table that I explained. It talks about how it's the leadership and intellect. So in astrology, And esoteric teachings, Aries is the sign like the new beginning because it's springtime right now. So that's the new beginning, and meaning, and it's encouraging and have a lot of energy right now. So connection between the brain and Aries emphasize that the importance in using your mind as guiding force in spiritual evolution. So a lot of conspiracies links to ancient astrology and hidden teachings about the sacred Rome and Aries, representing Aries in the Last Supper of the astrology sign. So like there's a growing body of thought that suggested like ancient teachings about astrology and the body where we once widespread, but we have been lost and like obscured from over time. Some conspiracy theories like argue that the ruling of the elite, you know what I mean? Like I told you before, keeping the population aware. And the ancient system and this knowledge right here that I'm giving you, such as astrology, were once used to guide societies in harmony and with like natural cycles, because your ancestors and stuff really watched the sun and the moon, and astrology plays a big part, not just astrology on this Western world, but the real astrology. See what I'm saying? That's what makes the whole system, and it makes it a larger conspiracy to keep people disconnected from both the cosmos and their own inner power. That's just true shit. So scenario on this right here is like, imagine if the zodiac sign, just imagine this right here. If the zodiac not only influenced personality traits, but was also tied to biological processes. You understand? Like the Christ or journey, known in ancient times but lost to us today. But some people really know this right here. If this knowledge was like kept hidden, it would be mean that the power to shape one's life through understanding through astrology, the cycles and the bodies, the energy system, it's like deliberately suppressed. You get what I'm saying? So this would imply that the whole ability to tap into your deeper conscious self is not a mere spiritual journey, but a birthright. Everything's your birthright that's been taken away from you. You get what I'm saying? So it's so deep that of this knowledge right here and wisdom of the Christ oil, it goes all the way to the pineal gland. So when we're talking about the pineal gland leads to all of this to the brain, so which is often referred at the third eye. If you notice, people that claim conscious, they use the eye of Ra, the eye of Horus, you know. But the pineal gland, which is also referred to the third eye, that's really the third eye, has a long history from being associated with mystical and spiritual practices, especially in like this esoteric circles. Like the pineal gland is considered the seat of the soul or the gateway to higher realms of consciousness. So when conspiracy people start to link up and try to think of fluoridation and the pineal gland suppression, like the fluoride in your water, that's keeping the pineal gland not even opening. So when once, if you ain't drinking real water coming straight from the spring, you ain't drinking real water. One of the most well-known conspiracies related to the pineal gland is that the belief of the fluoride is like found in most public waters, especially in the inner cities, and it calcifies the gland, like reducing its ability to function properly. It it's a theory that argues that the government intentionally adds fluoride to the water supply to prevent the population from achieving higher state of consciousness. Thus, this keeps us more in a kindergarten state of mind and real easy to control. So, on another theory, like the links the pineal gland to mind control technology. You get what I'm saying? 'Cause I worked in a factory before and I watched them robots come in and outrun a lot of people. So what they doing is through the technology, the ideas of combination of the media and the pharmaceuticals and the social pressure, people connections to their higher self is weakened, making them more susceptible to external manipulation. So you just getting robbed. You working. You doing things. I understand to um take care of your family and whatnot. It's real hard to see what's going on, even though you know in your brain, but you can't let go. So if the pineal gland is truly the gateway to a higher conscience, then how can a suppression would be prevented the individuals from accessing deeper insights and spiritual experiences? In this scenario, the entire system could be designed to keep humanity from reaching its potential, ensuring the mass awakening never occurs. Whether through chemical suppression or social programming, the world would mean that this would mean that the true potential of the human mind is being deliberately kept a dormant. You get what I'm saying? So when it's talking about the purity gland was when he talk about the milk and honey, the purity gland is often paired with the pineal gland in spiritual teachings. It's such it represents milk. The purity. You seen the purity, right? It represents the milk called purity represents the milk of the land flowing with milk and honey. So in esoteric terms, the purity and the pineal glands work together. It felicitates higher consciousness, often described as a union, male and female energies. It's always got to be male and female. So nothing works without male and female. I know what they're pushing, and I know what's going on. Man has got caught, and man is falling. You understand? So without male and female, there's no union. Then the conspiracies, people talking about controlling of the human potential, there is a large conspiracy theory that ties this concept of um, glandular activated or activity to the ideas that human biological potential is like being suppressed. The prominence of this theory believes that the government programs such as MKU Ultra experimented with the mind control techniques to manipulate human consciousness and the dual of the natural ability of the brain. You get it? So the balance of male and female energies represent by the purity of the pineal gland and is so crucial for achieving states of enlightenment. If this balance is disrupted between man and female, man, it's chaos. That's what's going on now. There's chaos in the world, whether through social conditionings, though you're going through some social media bullshit, or you're going through a chemical interference. That means you got to eat and take care of yourself. It would prevent individuals from like fully unlocking their whole potential. So if it ain't man and female balancing, there's no union, there's no energy representing the purity and the pineal gland. That's what I'm telling you. It's crucial if that man and female start achieving the one self. So in the world today, there is glands that are manipulated in humans may find it increasingly difficult to reach full potential, both spiritually and intellectually. Imagine if the nature or your natural process that follows us to access the state of enlightenment were deliberately sabotaged by your own social structures and external substances. You get what I'm saying? This would be a result in like population and the mentality and spirituality limited, unable to change or like challenge your own self or to escape the system. You get what I'm saying? That's the whole manipulation of the Christ oil. Always remember that you are who you are. You is he. So for more on the Christ Lord, every Saturday it'll be a lecture. So subscribe, hit the like button. I give thanks and praise to everybody here, and much love to everybody. One love.